fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Imagine if the greatest of this generation faced the greatest of the last. Crawford versus Mayweather, who really wins? Today, we break down the truth nobody wants to admit. Terence Crawford exploded at Floyd Mayweather after sparring footage was leaked. He said he didn't appreciate Floyd's actions and expected more respect from someone who claimed to be his friend. Crawford was upset that private training moments were made public. He stressed that this kind of move should never come from another champion and made his disappointment very clear.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's comment about Crawford retiring shows how divided the boxing world is. On one side, he admires Crawford's perfect legacy, conquering divisions, beating elite fighters, and proving he's one of the greats. Retiring now would protect his image forever, just like legendary champions before him. But on the other hand, boxing today is influenced by Saudi money and huge promotional events. Crawford could earn record-breaking purses, even if the fights are less about legacy. For many, the temptation of millions is hard to resist, and Hearn knows that balance better than most promoters.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off? Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money. And there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, he was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Crawford should stop while he's on top. He says Crawford has already done everything to prove greatness, pound-for-pound king, multi-division champion, and victories over the best of his era. He's not doubting Crawford's skills, but warns that continuing might bring unnecessary risk. If Crawford fights again, Schofield thinks it should only be against hungry young contenders like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin. This shows the new generation's hunger to test him. But Schofield's message is respectful. Crawford has nothing left to prove, and walking away now keeps his record flawless.
So, I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil. Virgil or Duran, I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights you just gotta see. You gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo.
I feel like it wasn't close enough. Really? If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
Fans continue to debate what would happen if Prime Floyd fought Prime Crawford. It's one of the biggest what-ifs in boxing. Floyd's unmatched defense and ring IQ made him untouchable, while Crawford's adaptability and finishing power destroyed every opponent. But reality is different. Floyd is no longer in his prime, his reflexes and stamina are gone. A fight now would be more spectacle than real test. That's why people say this dream matchup will always stay just a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd. I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts remind fans that stats and titles don't always decide who's greater head-to-head. Floyd's 50-0 record is legendary. Staying undefeated for decades is rare. Crawford, though, is undisputed in multiple divisions, something Floyd never did. The comparison isn't simple. Floyd had global names and massive pay-per-view numbers. Crawford built his career on clean, dominant wins. Analysts say greatness depends on timing, style, and context, not just numbers on paper.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped them over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time. And that's okay. It's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's opinion carries weight because he's been in the ring with Floyd. He respects Crawford as the king of today's era. Judah reminded fans that even Canelo once said Crawford might be better than Floyd, which sparked endless debate. To Judah, Crawford's ability to dominate across weight classes shows his completeness. Unlike many fighters, Crawford kept his power, timing, and calmness even when moving up. Judah's words feel like passing the torch. Floyd ruled his era, but now it's Crawford's time.
The punch can knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
2 rounds, yeah, about 2
Yeah.
rounds. How did you score? You score about, sound about right?
What's that?
Sound about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him possibly 3 rounds. So if I play space, you gave him 2 impossible.
Where'd you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion. 3-weight undefeated Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. He's number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, you know, that, you know, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
You like to see a rematch?
Probably very nice. Rematch always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
Stop.
My boys are dope.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Push up. I was watching Neil Steve.
Right.
Crawford himself pointed out that Canelo's view is more credible than most fans because Canelo faced both fighters. But Crawford also explained the difference. Floyd fought Canelo when he was young and inexperienced. Crawford fought him as a mature champion. That timing matters. Beating a seasoned Canelo is not the same as beating a raw, learning version. By saying this, Crawford defended his own win while also respecting Floyd's achievement.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best, you know, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but you know, why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather defended Floyd by saying people forget the context. When Floyd fought Canelo, he was no longer in his prime. He relied on timing, reflexes, and experience instead of speed or power. Still, he completely neutralized a dangerous young fighter. Jeff believes it's unfair to compare Floyd's version of Canelo with Crawford's version because they fought him at very different points. His words show how boxing history can change depending on how you look at it.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
yeah. What was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, and that's why Canelo was saying what he's saying.
I mean, don't you? I
To
mean,
make himself look like he did something great.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody, he's did everything, but you know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.